Network address translation. Network address translation. You see, the topic very clearly explains you what it is. You're going to do translation from one network address to another network address. So you are standing here in a meeting. Some are speaking French, some are speaking English. You are here. Assume you don't have much spoken experience with French language. Though you understand French, you don't have much speaking fluency. So what do? You take another person. What happened? So this is you. This is you. This is you. You speak English. You speak English. Okay, I change the page. It works now. Well, network address translation, as I said, you're going to translate. So you need two people because there is a translation involved. As I was saying, you speak in English to the audience. You got some audience who speaks English, and you got some audience who speaks only French. So you ask another person who knows English as well as French. You ask someone who knows English as well as French. You know who in network? This guy is what? Router. He knows both the network. You're going to translate network address. So you see, this guy speaks French. You speak English. He understands, the translator understands that he has to speak in French. So he speaks. Sometimes this guy wants to show that he also knows French. So every now and then he will speak in French. Whenever he speaks in French, this guy will put in English. So what I'm trying to say is there is only two languages. The people sitting there, some knows only English, some knows only French. So you need the translators who knows English and French, so that if someone speaks in French, he can translate to English. If someone speaks in English, he can translate to French. So you got two guys here who knows both the language. That is what a router. You have a router who knows both the network, the inside of your organization, outside of your organization, isn't it? Router knows both. This is your office border. This is internet outside. You see, the router knows both. So if you ask the router to translate, it can do. Router is the translator. You see here, you have Yahoo somewhere in the internet. Do you know where is Yahoo? Next street, next city, next village? We don't know. But we are inside, so we don't know. But this router here, which is your ISP, knows. ISP is a public network. Ours is a private network. I repeat, ISP is the public. Ours is the private. I have one of the address from the private range 10001. On the public side of the public facing interface, I have a public IP address. One 150 is public. 150.1.1. Public IP address. Private is within your office. Public is outside. Yahoo is also public, you see. Yahoo is also public. A part of your router is also public. The public Yahoo knows your organization not with this IP, but with this IP. If Yahoo says, I know you, this is you. If Yahoo says, I know you, Yahoo is in public. Is there any chance of Yahoo knowing about you with your private? No. Your public is this. Likewise, for every organization, there will be one public IP address. So with that public IP address only, the world knows you. Right now you are listening to me, I am talking to you. It is because your router has got a public IP address. But your laptop is given a private IP address. Your router has given a private IP address to you using DHCP. Your router is given to your laptop a private IP address using DHCP. But on the other side, it has got a public address to be identified by outsiders. So now we are going to the main story, why we need to translate the network address. See, this is what network address 110.0.0.1, that's one network address. 150.1.1.1 is another network address. Now, let's say this PC is pinging Yahoo. Let's say the Yahoo's IP address is 80.0.0.1, for example. When the packet goes out of this PC, the source IP address will be 10.0.0.1. The destination will be 80.0.0.1. Now, the packet goes to the router, and router sends the packet to the destination 80. My question to you is, will 80.0.0.1 reply to this packet? Answer is no. You tell me why. Yahoo will not reply to this packet, will not respond to this, will try to respond, but it cannot respond. Why? Because it's a private IP. Very good. Yahoo don't know you are 10.0.0.1. That is why I need to translate this network address. So before sending out, keep the destination, don't change, it won't change. Change the source. Don't continue with this 10 because Yahoo will not know you're 10. Change it to 150.1.1. This change that you make is what? NATing. This is what we call it as network address translation. You are changing the source address. My office is very big. My office is very big. Per second, millions of packet will go. Will each packet will get this translation? Yes. Yes. Every single packet needs this translation. Only then Yahoo can know to send the packet back to you, the reply packet to you. Yahoo knows only your 150.1.1.1, not 10.0.0.1. So all the inside of your organization mandatory need to translate to 150.1.1.1. This is what we call it as network address translation because it's a network layer, you see. IP address is in which layer of OSI? Network layer. IP address is in which layer of OSI? Network layer. That's why we call it as network address, which is nothing but IP address. So, in short, if I want to say this, so if I want to name this, rename this, I will rename like this: IP address translation. Aste, ante, avlada. IP address translation. IP address is what you see in network layer. You are translating from one IP to another IP. And you also know the reason why I have to get translated, why my packet need to get translated. Why my address need to get translated. Because in all the organizations, Every computers, interacting devices like mobile, everything will be in private within an organization because they get the IPs from the local DHCP. To communicate within the organization, you don't need translation. There is no need for translation because they can reach each other. They are all public. Sorry, they're all private. They can reach each other. They're all private. But if you want to talk from inside of your organization to outside of the internet, which is a public network, you need a public identity. So removing your original private identity and swapping with a public identity is what called as NATing. Now, there are three different NAT types. There are three different NAT types. Number one, static NAT. Which is also called as one-to-one NATing. Number two, dynamic NAT. This is one to many or many to many, nothing wrong. Many to many is the right word. You'll understand it better when we have an example. I can say any to any instead of many to many. Any. Any many to any many. Huh? You'll understand the real meaning when you go there. Many, any. Okay. The third type is two names it has got. The simple name is port address translation. PAT. The other name is dynamic NAT overloading. Dynamic NAT overloading. Loading. 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 Three types of NAT. This is one to many. One to many. Also any. We'll talk about that later in depth. Three types of NAT. Static NAT, dynamic NAT overloading, or port address cancellation. PAT. PAT is what? Port address. You know what is AT? Address translation. Port address translation. So, what do you understand from this? The first two type, they don't involve port numbers. The first two type don't don't involve port numbers. The third one will does does involve. The third one involves port number. Only the third one involves port number. Yeah, fine. I'll